Kool-Aid.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Tuesday, April 11th, 2023. I'm J.E. Skeets here in the Classic Factory with this glorious power, and alongside me, as always, Tass Mellis.
Podcast listeners, this is for you.
Next to him is the bearded one, my top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby.
Heyo.
Heyo! And over yonder, super producer, making the magic happen, JD.
Hello.
There he is. Here we are. Shout out to the stream team joining us live right now on YouTube. Like the vid, comment away, sub around, and find out. We just hit 66,000 subs on YouTube. Let's get to 100K. Go get your No Dunks merch over at nodunks.com. We recently posted a new shirt. Thank you for supporting No Dunks. No Dunks, 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 No Dunks. That's tough to say a lot of times in a row. I was really struggling there. No Dunks, No Dunks, No Dunks, No Dunks, No Dunks, No Dunks. There, that was a bit better.
I thought you were doing like a Super Mario Brothers interpretation.
Denim.
Yeah.
Oh, we should have a denim shirt.
Okay.
Just a straight shirt.
Denim shirt.
We'll talk to Breaking Tea. Go to nodunks.com. Get all of your No Dunks merch over there. And tomorrow night, it's the game everybody's talking about. It's the No Dunks Bowl. It's an NBA watch party on playback at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's the Bulls and the Raptors. Friendships will be tested. This is like when the mega powers turned on each other.
Who?
You know, Macho Man, Hogan. Hogan was flirting with Miss Elizabeth. What the hell, brother?
So who's flirting in this
I don't know.
DeRozan? DeRozan was flirting a little with the Toronto crowd, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
He said this is going to be like an Eastern Conference Finals game.
Yeah, that's insane.
He's right. He's 100%
It's
right.
going to be loud. He knows
50,000
Toronto.
people outside in Jurassic Park going crazy
He knows Toronto.
Yeah.
He's flirting.
for the 9-10 game.
You know, we found out that the Raptors organization themselves, they can't call Jurassic Park. Because
Don't have
of,
the rights, huh?
The whole movie, so it's all Raptors tailgate or Leafs tailgate, stuff like that. How do you feel about that?
Man.
Man.
It ain't right.
Ain't right,
Yeah,
man.
that ain't right. Oh, gosh. Doesn't bode well.
No.
It's like an angry dinosaur spitting in your face, which happened in Jurassic Park.
Who do you put that on, Spielberg or Crichton?
That's a Crichton call for sure.
I think so, too.
Yeah,
Crichton
Spielberg
has
doesn't
been dead
mind.
for
He's-
20 years.
Spoiler.
Well, then it's definitely his estate.
Did he die on the
They're
island?
very protective. Spielberg's making money.
Did he die on the shitter? Was that him on the shitter when the T-Rex got him? I don't know. Anyway, fun show here today. We got 2 play-in games tonight. We'll look at them, get you all set for Hawks Heat and, of course, Wolves Lakers. And we've got some Rudy Gobert news, of course, at that second game. We'll get into it later because today we're going to start with some Western Conference playoff previews. And let's just jump right into it. The number 6-seeded Warriors, the defending champs, versus the number 3-seeded Kings. They face off for the 2023 NBA playoffs. First round starting on Saturday night, ABC game. Not only will it be the first time the 2 Northern California teams face each other in the playoffs, but it's the first time these 2 teams have been in the playoffs in the same season since the Kings moved from Kansas City in 1985. I love that stat so much. So not only are they in the postseason at the same time, they're going to play each other here, Tass. So we got a couple questions as we break this down. We'll get to our predictions, but Tass, big picture thing here, Kings Warriors, what is one thing that you're going to be watching in this series starting on Saturday?
Well, both teams are going to score a lot. And when it comes down to the fourth quarter, who's going to execute better? I'm going to be watching Foxy, De'Aaron Fox. Can he execute against a guy I think the Warriors are going to put on him to get those stops in Gary Payton II? Late in games, Gary Payton II is not going to start. He's going to be fresh. And they're just going to put him on Fox as much as possible. And Peyton can play a lot because even though he's a bit of a liability offensively, the Kings don't really stop anybody. So that's not going to be an issue, I don't think. And I think Gary Payton II's freshness on Fox, the fact that they can just put him on him and stick him on him, might limit the other guys' effectiveness on the Kings offense a little bit as well. So that's the big matchup. Fox, his first postseason, exciting stuff. I do think these games are going to come down to the fourth quarter as much as the Warriors here are favored. The Kings ain't blowing the Warriors out. And the Warriors may blow out the Kings occasionally, but I think Fox is going to have to execute. And everybody's going to be sticking at home, I think, on the Warriors, even though their defense has been stanky. I think GP will be out there. It's going to be a fun matchup. Those two dudes, and the Warriors are happy to have him back, just recently. But he's unlike Wiggins. He's in game shape, and again, because he doesn't start, he'll be fresh at the end of the game. So, Foxy versus GP for me.
What do you got?
I think it's the other point guard matchup that's a huge question because the Kings don't have anybody to guard Steph Curry. He went for 33, 6, and 5 against Sacramento this season. Shot 58% from the floor, 50 from 3, 91 at the free throw line. Their best chance, the Kings defensively, is probably like Davion Mitchell. But if he's playing a lot, you're taking one of your 5 starters off the court, also not going to Malik Monk, which really limits their offense. And this is an offense-first team. So I wonder if they just try and put Fox on Curry, let him work as hard as he can, and really overcommit to Steph. Try to get the ball out of his hands, force some turnovers, maybe force somebody else to beat them, because you would rather take your chances even with Klay Thompson shooting threes. I mean, he had 301 threes this season, so it's not a good bet, but it's better than Steph Curry, who should be the best player on the court for the entirety of this series, and it's almost a matter of how can the Kings mitigate that factor, because Fox is going to have to score to negate what Steph is doing, and then make it a little bit tough. Otherwise, Curry's just going to put up 40-point game after 40-point game.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about the big guys a little bit. I am really pumped to see Sabonis, who's very likely going to be All-NBA third center, versus Draymond Green, who's always in the running for a Defensive Player of the Year nod. I don't think he's going to win it, but he's going to get some votes. And what I like about it is, Looney will see some action on him too. He's a big body. But Sabonis, when you think about it, he operates a lot like Draymond in that Mike Brown Kings offensive system, sort of as that facilitator. This is going to be a whole lot of screens and dribble handoffs. Like, there's going to be a ton of them to open up the floor for your Foxes and your Currys and then the three-point shooters. But I'm just excited to see Draymond try and battle with Sabonis. That's a big dude. They'll run the dribble handoff action. He'll get it to his guys to then splash out to three-point shooters. But then if nothing happens there, he doesn't like it, he will just take a guy in the post. Draymond's an ox, though, too. I mean, this is two. He's obviously not as tall as Sabonis, but Jesus, a smart defender and a strong defender at that. So I just wonder, too, like foul trouble coming into play. Can they put pressure? Can Sabonis put pressure on Draymond Green? Maybe play him off the floor a little bit, because then that'll open things up for Sacramento. I'm just pumped for that sort of one-on-one battle. Again, Looney will be on him, don't get me wrong, but there will be a ton where Draymond is sort of the main guy on Sabonis.
Yeah, it's interesting how deep the Warriors are going to be able to go if Green gets in foul trouble. That's a big if. He should be smart enough to be able to stay on the floor. But will you be able to even throw Wiggins on there? Wiggins hasn't played in months. Will he be able to just get out there and be half Andrew Wiggins? And the good thing about Wiggins getting back to himself for the Warriors is that he won't have to be on the best players for the Kings. He can start on Harrison Barnes or Keegan Murray or guys that are sort of the secondary type guys. And because the Warriors are going to score, they're not going to rely too much on Wiggins offensively. So I think he can slowly get going. And if Wiggins is going to be, like half Andrew Wiggins' capabilities, that's just bad news for the Kings, I think. If he can play just both ends, because they can do so much more. Let's say Green goes down defensive or goes down into foul trouble. Instead of Kuminga that you're going to bring out or somebody as a smaller backup, you can play Wiggins more. If he plays. So I assume Wiggins is going to get going, quarter number 1, possession number 1, and get himself into the series pretty quick.
Yeah, to go back to your Gary Payton II comment, too, putting him on Fox. We look at this series and we go, well, the Kings don't play defense. They are, like, of all the teams in the playoffs, they have the worst defensive rating, but the best offensive rating, as we showed you. And then you go, well, the Warriors aren't great defensively either. Like, they're middle of the pack this season. They've sort of disappointed. Part of that probably, like, championship hangover, and they're like, we'll turn it on when we get to the playoffs, which I assume they will. But also, since Gary Payton II has come back in the last 2 weeks, I think they had the best defense in the league. Then you're adding Andrew Wiggins. We don't know what, level he's going to be at, how long it's going to take for him to get into that sort of game shape. You'd think it would come quicker maybe on the defensive end, being an athlete, than it would on the offensive end, finding a shot. But, that's scary for the Kings. I guess what I'm getting at here is if, there was no Gary Payton II, if there was no Wiggins, maybe it's, a lot tighter. But, man, those guys, just help make the Warriors' middle-of-the-pack defense back into sort of, an elite defense. And that's a scary part, I think, for Kings fans.
I don't think the Warriors have a middle-of-the-pack defense. I think they're going to be one of the best defenses in the playoffs because they elevate it for the playoffs, whereas the Kings, I don't really think they can get to another level. They've been trying to get to another level for the past 5 seasons, and they're staying in the bottom 5. So it's going to be tough. They're going to have to outscore them, which the Kings certainly can do because they can at least shoot with the Warriors. They're going to have 4 shooters on the court almost all the time. And then, like you're saying, Sabonis versus the couple of bigs.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried about Sabonis. He hasn't been very good in the playoffs in his career. Under 10 points per game, under 5 rebounds, under 2 assists. Pretty bad stuff. He was playing on a Pacers team that had a lot of people just standing in the middle. But he can be taken out of the game a little. And I think Looney probably starts on him and takes a huge chunk of it to keep him off the glass and to let Draymond help and just gunk up things in the middle because he's good enough to challenge a shooter in the corner and help in the middle at the same time.
All right, let's move over to Kings Warriors X Factor. Trey, you get us started. Who you got your eye on here for either team?
Well, I think Gary Payton II is the biggest X factor in the series, probably alongside Dante DiVincenzo, just because that gives the Warriors the best chance of guarding De'Aaron Fox. But you touched on it a little bit, Tass, with Harrison Barnes and Keegan Murray. They're going to get shots in this series because the Warriors will do everything they can to take Fox out of the game and to take Sabonis out of the game, which then leaves open looks for Keegan Murray playing in his first postseason of all time. You know, in their biggest game of the year when he was trying to break the rookie record for threes. The Kings were trying to clinch their first playoff berth. He went 1 for 8. Does he turtle once the lights are bright? Maybe. How does Harrison Barnes respond playing against his former team?
Yeah. A
guy who's been really solid for the Kings this season, gets to the free throw line, hits open threes. They're going to need that. They're going to need a third scorer outside of Fox and Sabonis because there will be times when the Warriors make the Kings do anything else besides what they want to do. Are those guys ready? Maybe so. If they show up in like 4 games, the Kings have a chance.
Yeah, those vets, to me, Barnes and throw in Kevin Huerter there. I call him a vet because he has had playoff experience with the Atlanta Hawks. Those 2 guys to take pressure off Sabonis and Fox because Sabonis needs those dudes to just stay on the floor and not get shut down and have a little bit of space. That's, to me, the biggest Kings factor. Besides, the Warriors, I know if they play to their capabilities, they should be the favorites. But I guess in all the chats about this series, people don't think the Kings can get to the level that they were playing at. Or if they have another level, they just have to play to that level, I think, and then this will be a series. The level that they played at all season long. Will they have a home court advantage in this series? I think that's another big question. It's 90 minutes away from Chase Center in Golden State. Like, there will be fans from Golden State. I know Sacramento fans are going to show out. There's no doubt. But the Warriors will have fans in the building, and their old legs will be helped by not flying, I think, as well. They
keep talking about this. I wanted to get your take on it. Draymond especially is like, we want to play Sacramento. And everybody's like, oh, they want to play Sacramento because they've never been there. They're going to kick their ass. But they're really saying, no, we want to play them because we don't have to get on a plane. And it's great. We can just jump on a bus and we can sleep in our own beds.
Yeah, is it reachable via boat?
I don't know.
Klay Thompson loves to sail.
That's the funny thing with even Klay. Like, we won't even talk about Klay. As you said, they're going to try and take away Steph. Klay's been on frickin' fire. And I do think, I think the old legs, that plane thing is real. Just because they know that they haven't lost a series in the Western Conference. Like, Steve Kerr has never lost a Western Conference series ever. So they are so freaking confident that these little dumb things like not getting on a plane. Yeah, that's good like we know how we can play to this level, this exceptional level. And yes, getting in a car and driving for 90 minutes and not having to get on a plane and do that crap, I think is good for them. And the whole road record of 11-30. For them kind of goes out the window, especially because the Kings don't have an incredible home court advantage. You think, without looking at the stats, their arena is going to be bumping, but pretty average offensive home court advantage at 23 and 18.
Been one of the better road teams the Sacramento Kings have.
Yeah.
During the season.
Totally.
One of the X factors, I did a ton of reading about this series. I'm sure you guys did as well. Like, you're looking for the articles and maybe listening to other podcasts. And I didn't find one thing that felt like written about Jordan Poole. Like, you're bringing up all the big names. We've gone through like 10
we haven't mentioned Jordan Poole.
I know. And I didn't see his name mentioned in anything I read for this. And I was like, what the hell? I know he's had a very weird season up and down. But I think he is a bit of an X factor. Maybe not even in this series, but moving forward for the Warriors and their chances to repeat as champions.
Are you looking ahead?
I possibly am. But, like, looking back, do you remember what Poole did in the first 2 rounds last season? He was on fire. Now, he started in the first round series versus the Nuggets, because Curry was coming off the bench, coming back from injury, Poole averaged 29-5 in the first 3 games in that series. They won all 3 of them. And then he sort of tailed off as that series went on. They had it wrapped up. In the next series against the Grizzlies, coming off the bench, Poole he averaged 26-5-5 in the first 3 games. And they took a 2-1 lead starting on the road in Memphis. My point is he was instrumental in them getting off to great starts in these games, in these series, and then going on to win the title. And it's what type of Poole are we getting here? I mean, he's going to play, of course. He could have these 30-point games in him, for sure. But he could have his stinkers where he goes 3 for 12 and he forces the action and there's some bad turnovers and Warriors fans get on him. So I just think, I'm not sure he's an X factor really to get by the Kings here, but I think in the grand scheme of things here, looking at 16 games to win the title, he's going to play a part, either helping or hurting them, I think. Yeah.
I think Monk versus Poole is kind of a swing matchup here off the bench because both teams really good starting lineups. I don't know, maybe, I don't even know who you give the advantage to off the bench. Probably the Warriors, just because they do have Poole and they've got experienced guys, whereas with the Kings, you're kind of just hoping Malik Monk has an incredible shooting night. He's had a lot of great nights, and he's a really high volatility player. Like you're saying, Poole can have terrible nights where he's just taking the worst heat checks, and the turnovers, to me, are almost a worse problem with him than taking bad shots. But if Monk can outplay Poole when everybody's in bench mode, that is huge because the Warriors starting lineup, no doubt, is better than the Kings starting lineup. So they need Malik Monk to be better than Jordan Poole to have a chance, I think.
Kings Warriors predictions. Task, get us started. Where are you going?
I'm definitely going with the Golden State Warriors. I've been deliberating how many the Kings can take. I'm going to buy into, even though the Warriors have been playing really well, just the entirety of the season, how the Kings have been playing, I'm going to say the Warriors are going to win in 7.
Wow.
Which, is weird because it'll be on the road, obviously, in Sacramento. Just having a little faith in the Kings. Maybe a little too much faith. But according to the betting odds, the Warriors are the heavy favorite and to win in between 5 and 6 games. I'll give a little respect to the Sacramento Kings. Hopefully they can execute, and hopefully Domantas Sabonis has learned from a lot of those Pacers days because they were bad. Getting into the play-in tournament in years past, he just wasn't anywhere close to himself. So the Barnes effect, the Herter effect, combined with Sabonis, I think they hopefully have enough veteranship. And a little bit of rust from the Warriors, like Wiggins, but. I'm not even buying myself as I say it. I think the Warriors could end it quicker, but I'll give them 7.
Okay, Warriors in 7 says Tass. What about you, Trey?
I got the Warriors in 6. I think they win game 1 on the road, and home court advantage is gone for the Kings. Just like that, the Warriors will end up celebrating after a 1-1 going back to Golden State. We did all we needed to do. Win a road game there, just like we always do. So I think the experience will play a factor here. I think getting into the playoffs is going to be a different beast. For the Kings, things always slow down, much like they did for the Nuggets once upon a time when they were the fastest team in the league, the greatest offense, and then they got to the playoffs. Things slowed down a little bit, but awesome season for the Kings. Tough matchup in the first round, playing basically their big brother. The Kings want to be the Warriors. That's 100% what they want to do, is rip off everything they did to become a dynasty. So good place to start, but now you're seeing the real thing.
Yeah. Okay, so Warriors in 7, Warriors in 6. I agree with you that, if I could bet on this, I would right now, that the Warriors will win one of those 2 games in Sacramento. Could be game 1. It's going to be game 1 or 2. I don't see Sacramento holding home court at all because that's what the Warriors do. Despite this shitty regular season road record, they're going to win one of those games. I actually see a lot of similarities to this series to, and you'll remember this, Tass, the 2014 playoffs when our Raptors finally snapped a pretty bad playoff drought. It wasn't nearly as bad as 16 years for the Kings, but it had been 5 or 6 years. The Raptors hadn't sniffed the playoffs. They finally had a good year. Their whole thing was we the North that year. We got the Kings with the light, the beam. The Raps won 48 games. Here are the Kings with a similar record. They won the divisions, both of those teams. They were the number 3 seed in their conference. And who did the Raptors get? They got the Brooklyn Nets in the 3-6 matchup. Now, that was the Nets where it was all the old guys. It was your Paul Pierce. It was your Joe Johnson, your Darren Williams, your Kevin Garnett. The guys that have been through the ringer, maybe not with the Brooklyn Nets in that case, but had won some championships, had some playoff success, just been there, done that. And I feel like that's what's maybe going on here. But I know I took the Raptors in that series to beat the Nets. I'm doing the exact same thing here because I'm an idiot. Kings in 7, just because I want to believe it. My head says Warriors in 6, but my heart says Kings in 7.
So play both sides. I like
Exactly, exactly. No, Kings in 7. Kings in 7. I'll remember that. Why not? Why not? They just got to outscore them, outgun the greatest three-point shooting backcourt we've ever seen in history.
Yeah, they got to win. The Kings have to win on the road because they
can do that. That's not. I 100% believe they can match. I think this will be a 2-2 series after 4. With both of them.
And so you think they would lose 5 and 6 your head is saying Warriors in 6. If it's 2-2, the Warriors would have to go to Sacramento and win Game 5.
I'm pretty confident it's either going to be. Well, look, I agree with Trey. It's like I said, this is the Golden State Warriors. We just know they're going to go to another level, and we're all sitting here going, "Can the Kings do that?" I like that Mike Brown obviously was with the Golden State Warriors. Does that help a little bit? I like that they faced some adversity this year. Remember the Kings started 0-4 again? And we're like, oh, God. They rallied. Like, they've got some backbone to them. And that fan base is going to be rabid. Like, that will... Unfortunately, it won't matter because I believe they'll lose one of the first 2 games. But, Jesus, they haven't been on ABC since, like, I don't know when. The mid-2000s. Probably. Never. I don't even think
they didn't get an ABC game this year?
I don't think so.
There were like 4.
I don't think so.
Yeah, there were many.
There was like 3 weeks of games.
The thing with the Warriors is they don't even really have to get to another level at home. They're 33-8 at home. They're so good at home. So if they win games 3 and 4 after stealing 1, then it's over in 6. I feel like the Kings to get to 7, they have to go steal 1, obviously, because I feel like they're going to lose 1 at home. So I do believe that they can steal 1.
Because of the offensive firepower in this series, though, like, don't go turning off this game when... Hey, I'm talking to you, Grish, my buddy Grish. Don't go turning off this game when somebody's up 15, 16 points, midway through the second quarter. It won't matter, I don't think, with these 2 teams. With the way they can shoot, the way they can score, it could be gone. And especially the way the Warriors sometimes get sloppy with the ball as well. Like, they'll let teams back in the game, and I think the Kings can take advantage of it. So I'll go Kings in 7. Obviously, it's wishful thinking, but I'm just hoping they make some noise here, and at least we get a series. All right, let's keep it going. Let's go to the number 4-seeded Phoenix Suns versus the number 5-seeded LA Clippers. They're going to meet each other here in the first round in another Pacific Division showdown.
Also, same time zones. I saw that was a thing.
These 2 teams.
Yeah, same time zones.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it's big time.
Suns are hoping their big KD splash here at the trade deadline helps them win it all, while the Clips are looking for some level of success after landing Kawhi and Paul George back in, 2019? Now, no PG to start this series. Well, what's one thing to watch? Trey, you get it started.
How do the Clippers play defense without Paul George? That is a huge question for me because you look at the starting lineup matchups, Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul, sure. That seems to be what is going to happen. DeAndre Ayton and Ivica Zubac, they're probably stuck on each other as well, but then it's kind of up in the air, I think. You would assume maybe Kawhi Leonard guards Kevin Durant, but there's only one Kawhi Leonard right now on the Clippers, and without Paul George, somebody's going to have to guard Devin Booker. So does that mean Eric Gordon or Nikola Batum is on Devin Booker? That seems like a bad idea to me. So could it be Kawhi guarding Booker and then Batum on KD? I don't know. You're one wing down, and it would be a perfect series to have 2 great defensive wings in Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. But I assume that Kawhi's going to guard KD in the high leverage moments when it really, really matters. But he's going to have to stick on Booker, I do believe, for the majority of the game, just because they need somebody to chase him around on screens. Maybe Terrence Mann will eventually move into the starting lineup as the series goes on, but I don't think that'll start right away. Ty Lue's a great adjustments coach, so maybe he pulls the trigger on that immediately. But I don't know. It just seems like there's too many Suns to guard right now for the Clippers with only one great defender out there.
Yeah, the versatility of the Clippers is going to play a factor there with the defense. They do have a lot of guys that they can throw out there, and there's just a lot of guys to guard with the Suns. They're clearly the leaders in the star power category in this one. Everybody can score on the Suns. So the Clippers just got to get dirty and grind it out. And Ty Lue is really, really good at adjusting, whether it's in-game. Even starting game 1, there could be a major adjustment in throwing in Terrence Mann to guard Devin Booker. He's not scared of doing that. He wasn't scared of not playing Russell Westbrook since they got him in fourth quarters. He's totally comfortable playing all his guys. And they go 12 deep. They literally can go 12 deep. The Paul George factor is a factor. I think his defense is hasn't been as good as it has been in years past. And it's to me the worrisome part on the offensive end. Are they going to have enough scoring power just to match the dudes in Durant, Booker, and Chris Paul and Ayton? Are they going to have enough scoring power? Because the Clippers have the depth. They don't foul a lot, blah, 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 blah. But when it comes down to it, the Suns are going to score. Can Kawhi be a monster?
Yeah.
Can Kawhi do enough? Can Kawhi make up for not having Paul George out there? As deep as they are, they're going to scrap, but what kind of Kawhi are we going to get in fourth quarters? Is it going to be Raptors Kawhi? Is it going to be that old guy? And he has been gearing up for this. It sure feels like this
started
past
to
weekend.
look like that over the last little bit.
Playing back-to-backs for the first time in years, playing 40 minutes, looking awesome. But he's gonna have to be the best player because Durant has the support of Devin Booker and Chris Paul to a lesser degree, and DeAndre Ayton. I mean, you can say that they have three of the top 5 guys in this series, 3 of the top 4 guys in this series. So that's the worrisome part. Can they match the star power?
Do you think we'll see Paul George in this series at all? Or
Like
will
hanging out?
playing at all?
Oh, no.
You don't think so?
Nah.
And do you think that'll depend a little bit on how the series is going or starting even, or just like no chance he even plays?
I just don't think he's going to play.
It was a
period.
pretty serious looking injury.
Yeah. And all the reporting has been, like from Shams, has been they're going to need to get out of this series to see Paul George.
Yeah.
So he's not factoring in my picks, at least.
Yeah. And he kind of is the guy that comes on slowly, I think, after missing several weeks of play. It's going to be almost a month, most likely, by the time he comes back. I watched a clip of his podcast, Podcast P with Paul George. Really, it was just a ratings play. He went out and he updated everybody yesterday on his injury.
Smart.
Yeah, smart SEO play.
play.
It was like 90 seconds of him talking with a monstrous...
90-second podcast.
No, 90 seconds talking about the interview. This was actually a well-produced podcast in that there were segments. It was edited. It wasn't just, hey, here's the mic, Paul. We can do it. We can do it during your rehab, at the arena. Like this is in a studio setting. Lights are on. This isn't Patrick Beverly with, he's doing it in his bathroom or wherever he does his
Good
podcast.
audio in the bathroom.
Great audio in the bathroom. Anyway.
What did he say about his injury?
He said, oh, you want to know about that? No. He basically said it's coming down to the wire for him. So that means he makes it seem like he could play.
That could be a little gamesmanship, of course.
Sure,
right?
sure.
From him in the clips.
But he's working out a lot. 6 out of 7 days, not 7 days. 3 to 4 hours every morning, getting it back. So it's coming down to the wire. I don't know what that means exactly. Like if he doesn't start game 1, then he's not playing the entire series. But that knee brace was huge that he was wearing. So if he wanted to make it seem like he was coming back, I think they'd take off the knee brace. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what the hell I watched, but I watched Podcast P with Paul George.
Who's the EP on Podcast P? Great job.
No idea.
All right, let's get to an X factor in this series. Trey, who do you have circled in this one?
Oh, it's 3-point shooting, dog. It's 3-point
Gotta
shooting.
be an X factor.
That's gotta be. The Clippers, though, 19-7 in games that they hit 15 or more 3-pointers. The Suns are just not a high-volume 3-point shooting team. That can obviously change with Devin Booker being healthy, with Kevin Durant now in the lineup and healthy. But the Clippers are a team that gets really hot from 3 and takes a whole bunch of threes. So I think that they could beat them on a variance game there. Also, another efficiency point is LA is really good at getting to the line. Kawhi Leonard in particular. Phoenix 5th or 30th in free throw rate allowed. They're the worst in the league at sending teams to the line. So that's another way that the Clippers can win. So those are the 2 areas I'll be watching. The extra points, basically. The Clippers hitting threes and the Clippers getting to the line because, like Tass said, it's hard to keep up with the Suns scoring-wise, but that's a way the Clippers could do it.
Yeah, agreed. They got to do it in the other, the 4 factors around the edges. Like, can they operate getting to the line, as you said, making those tough shots, because that's what they do, and I wonder how small the Clippers are going to go against the Suns, because the Suns can win around the edges by offensive rebounding. That's what they do. They're sixth in offensive rebounding. Kind of surprising when you look at it like that. So Josh Okogie could get on the glass and score a bunch of extra points to go along with DeAndre Ayton, even though they don't get to the line and they've got the best mid-range shooter in the world in Kevin Durant and maybe the third best mid-range shooter in the world in Devin Booker. They can out out edge the Clippers as well. But just strictly from a personnel standpoint, I think Eric Gordon is just going to have to be really, really good to support Kawhi Leonard. I think he's been very good since he got back to the Clippers, 42% from three, and he can guard a bunch of those guards. I know no one talks about his defense, but he's capable. I think he can guard Paul. I think he can guard Booker in a pinch when they're, both get their switches. I think he can get under Durant a little bit, and then Durant will just shoot over him and score. But I do think that he will play a lot. He'll play in fourth quarters. I'm glad we haven't started or even really mentioned Russell Westbrook in this preview and gone, this is the Westbrook versus Durant series. It ain't. Westbrook is hopefully for the Clippers going to play first, third quarters. And then I think Eric Gordon will come in and have to be a shot maker along with Norman Powell. Those guys are going to be important.
Westbrook has been playing well recently. I mean, if he can continue at that level and not kill his own team and obviously take ill-advised shots and take control of the ball a little bit, then they're going to be happy with whatever minutes he's playing, obviously sort of in the rotations there. And Lou's going to give him he's going to play, of course, but you just don't want Russ. You almost just don't want him to get into that's Kevin Durant over there. It's revenge time for everything that happened or how it went down in OKC. But I don't think he will. Let's get to predictions then. Who do you got? How many games?
I got the Suns winning this one in 6 games. I got a lot of love for Kawhi Leonard. I think he will win a game for the Clippers in this one. I can foresee a game where DeAndre Ayton gets into early foul trouble and Kawhi just takes 20 free throws in a game, hits 18 of them, and puts up a 40 burg. I also can see a game where the Clippers hit 20 or more threes, but the Suns are just too good, and I think that they're going to show that their 8-0 record with Kevin Durant in the lineup against nobodies. I mean, one of the best teams they beat was the Bulls, and they completely smacked them, and the Bulls are not good. But that was like their best win with their squad out there. But this will be a nice opening round matchup for the Suns, because they're going to have to beat the Clippers to beat them, I think. I don't think the Clippers are just going to give up the series. But Phoenix, too good. Suns in 6.
Yeah, I wonder if the Clippers can rekindle that magic where they went to the conference finals a couple of years ago. They ended up having, Kawhi out and Paul George leading that team, and somehow finding, 7-8 guys that were able to support him. I just find that hard to believe this year. Paul George is just an important part of their offense, and their offense wasn't all that good. So I just worry about those other guys really supplementing that. Eric Gordon, again, is going to have to score a lot, and Norm Powell is going to have to score a lot. So I don't think that's going to happen. As much as I do believe in Ty Lue, I believe in that versatility, I find it hard to believe that they're going to outscore the Suns. And I don't think that factor of not having that chemistry with the Suns, only 8 games together, is really going to factor in at all. So I'll take the Suns in 6.
Suns in 6. I like where you guys are going here. I'll change it up just to be a little different. I'll go Suns in 5. But yeah, Kawhi, I'm pumped to see obviously healthy here in a playoff series. That makes sense that he's going to drag him across the finish line for maybe a game or two, but this is just too much here from the Suns. It's all KD. Booker's gonna have a 40 burger in one of these games. So easily. This guy's all he steps up his game in playoff series. So I think it's just gonna be just too much here for the Clippers, and I think we're all gonna go after the fact oh man, you guys maybe should have tried to avoid the Phoenix Suns in that first round. Maybe it helps your chances. Would it had to have been through the play-in? Probably. Could you have beaten the Grizzlies? Man, maybe. But I think the Suns love this matchup. I think they were excited about it, and I'll take the Suns in 5. Let's hear from everybody out there when it comes to both of those series. Let's hear your predictions in the stream team or in the comments below. We'll take our first break, and when we come back, we'll look ahead to tonight's play-in games. Don't go anywhere.
It's been a long time. Shouldn't have left you without a drink mix to step 2. Athletic Greens is back! If you're looking to get better gut health, more energy, or a stronger immune system in a really easy, natural way, you gotta check out Athletic Greens. Feels like just yesterday that Tass was telling us how much he hates swallowing horse pills because of his tiny throat. But with Athletic Greens, you can get rid of all that nonsense. Because with Athletic Greens, you'll actually enjoy getting your daily vitamins. With one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food sourced superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging.
Nice.
It's lifestyle friendly, whether you eat gluten-free, keto, paleo, vegan, or dairy-free. AG1 is a small micro habit with big benefits. It's one thing you do every single day to take great care of yourself. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/nodunks. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/nodunks to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
Indochino is a one-stop shop for looking and feeling good. A one-stop shop where you can get one look for all your events as well. That's how I like to do it, the lazy man's way of shopping. Indochino's looks, they're kind of like a 5-tool athlete. One finely tuned, fully customizable outfit that's always ready to perform in any game or event. Order it online, like I did, using their slick online platform. Wear it to your friend's wedding, like I did. Customize every detail on your suit, shirt, dinner jacket, and more in a range of colors from black or gray to burgundy or olive to a classic Hemsworth navy, like I did. I hemsed it. And if you have to wear a tuxedo first, I'm sorry someone is forcing you to do that. Or maybe you're forcing yourself. I don't know. Either way, why not buy one from Indochino? A custom tux you can own starting at $579. But create a suit for far less than that. A suit that fits you, that represents you, without a luxury price tag. RSVP knowing you've got the perfect look all wedding season long from Indochino. Go to Indochino.com and use code NODUNKS to get 10% off any purchase of $3.99 or more. That's INDOCHINO.com, promo code NODUNKS. All right, back with No Dunks. I've convinced myself after going back to look at Podcast P's knee brace, Paul George's knee brace he was wearing in his podcast. He's duping us. He's playing in game 1. Look how big that knee brace is. It doesn't look like a guy who's ready to play basketball in 4 days. Not at all.
So you think he said, give me the big brace
to
throw him off the scent.
Wow.
You better
That's
believe
smart,
it.
actually.
Yeah. Give me the wide shot, too, so you can see my leg.
Look at it.
Hey, let's move out this glass table. Or at least make it glass so you can see through it and see my big brace.
Is that table made from skateboard trucks?
Yeah, it looks like
Does it spin? That's weird.
Skateboard P.
Oh, skateboard P. It's podcast P.
Amazing. All right. When I say play, you say in. Play.
In.
Play.
In.
Let's do it. We got 2 games tonight. We're underway. We'll start in the East. Hawks. It's been a while. Versus the Heat. We're in Miami. 7:30 p.m. Eastern. TNT. The winner advances to face the Celtics in the first round as the number 7 seed. The loser gets one more crack at it, hosting the winner of the No Dunks Bowl on Wednesday night. What do you think, Tass? I know we've touched on it briefly on yesterday's podcast, but you've had a little bit more time to think. Do the Hawks have any chance to beat Miami?
A little more time to think, a little more time to convince myself that the Hawks are going to beat the Heat. I think I know they're the underdog.
I haven't seen anyone make that. I think I saw one person, Sam Quinn of CBS Sports, said the Hawks.
The medicine man himself.
That's right, yeah.
I heard Zach Lowe cawing on a podcast recently. That was great.
What was he doing?
He was doing a Skeets-esque caw with I gotta say a little more panache.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, like he felt like it felt like he was making up for 10 years of not cawing.
Yeah.
With his caws.
The Heat dominated last year in that series against the Hawks. 5 games. I don't think I would take the Hawks in a 5-game series or in a series against the Heat, but in a 1-game scenario, I think they can do it. I think this is a very different team with DeJounte Murray beside Trae Young, and they've looked like the team that could beat the Miami Heat in their recent games. Last 7 games are 5-2, and they've done exactly what they needed to do against the Heat in this play-in game. Trae Young, over these 7 games, averaged 20 points. DeJounte, 21 points. They've been sharing the ball. Last year, they didn't have that. They didn't. There was DeAndre Hunter was their secondary guy. Not good enough. DeJounte Murray, I think, is going to be really confident getting into the lane against the Miami Heat that aren't as good as last year. Let's be frank. They aren't as good as defensively. They're starting Tyler Hero now in their backcourt. They don't have a healthy Kyle Lowry, even if he does play. I think it's a very different team. Clint Capella was also injured in 3 of 5 of those games last year. So I think it's different, and the Hawks have been playing their best ball. The Heat have been playing fine as well. They've had some really good games where they look like the Heat. But I think the dynamics have changed, and I think they're buying into Quinn Snyder. They didn't have any sort of secondary action last year when Trae got stopped. It was ugly, and he was bad. But they have a secondary guy now who's super confident. So I think they could do it. I think they are definitely the underdog. But I don't think the Heat's home court advantage is all that good. So I'm taking them.
Wow. What do you think?
Jimmy Butler already guaranteed a victory.
That's a bad thing.
He already predicted I'm getting the win in this one, then we'll go play the Celtics. Tass is right, though. Needs to be a big DeJounte Murray game if the Hawks are going to have any chance this season. Trae's shooting 20 per game against the Heat, but he's only shooting 35% from the field. In the one game the Hawks won this season, great game for Murray. 28 points, 7 assists, 11 for 17 from the field, and Trae Young had 10 turnovers in that game. That is the problem, is that the Heat seem to have Trae Young's number in last season's playoffs. 22 field goals for Trae, 31 turnovers, and it was so bad that they went out and got DeJounte Murray. Exactly. That was basically the entire reason they did it, but the Heat can lose this one easily. They don't shoot the ball very well at all. They're 27th in three-point percentage, but they take a lot of them to kind of make up for that. The Hawks don't always take advantage of it. They're 21st in percent, but only 28th in attempts. They got to hit threes tonight, which means Trae Young has to hit threes, which means maybe Sadiq Bey needs to get off the bench a little bit here to hit some threes, and they have to hope for a poor shooting night from Miami. And also, the Hawks have to make sure they keep the Heat off the line. The Heat force a bunch of turnovers. The Hawks don't turn it over very much. So maybe that's something that could slid towards the Hawks. But if Jimmy Butler is just living in the lane, going to the free throw line all night, the Heat will score enough to beat the Hawks.
Young, we've talked about this, has struggled against the Heat in his entire career, not just last year's playoffs.
Throw me off every time you say Young. I don't know who you're talking about.
Trae Young, Ice Trae himself. Against Spo, in 17 career games versus Miami, he's averaging just 21.4 points per game. Okay, that doesn't sound that bad, but 40% shooting, 32% from 3. It's even worse in the 4 games this season. They do a good job of just rattling him, and they have bigger guards, and they trap him, and they say, yeah, go ahead, Hunter, you beat us. Yeah, go ahead, John Collins, you try and beat us. Like, you know, now you have DeJounte Murray, though, and it did work in that one game, so he has to have a monster game. He has to be big tonight for them to pull this off. The thing with Butler is, I mean, we talk about it with the Warriors, right? Like, yeah, okay, they don't really care that much about the regular season, but they're 16-game players. When the playoffs come, they go to another level. That is Jimmy Butler. I couldn't believe this. He has 6 40-point games as a member of the Miami Heat, all in the playoffs. Now, I know tonight's play-in game is not really the playoffs, but it's the postseason. But that's wild. He's never done it in the regular season as a Miami Heat member. 6 of them in the postseason. And according to Elias Sports Bureau, this is a fun trivia question for you guys. Butler is one of 2 active 20-point-per-game scorers with at least 100 playoff games who has raised their points per game, their rebounds per game, and their assists per game in the postseason. Can you name the other active player who scores over 20 points per game?
100 playoff games.
Yeah, a lot. We just talked about
Kawhi.
him. No, close.
Paul George?
Paul George.
Playoff P?
I know, playoff P for a reason.
Yeah,
so
those
anyway,
Pacer days were good days.
not only does Jimmy have good success against the Hawks, so does Bam. I think it gets overlooked. 25, 10, and 4 he averaged in the 4 games versus Atlanta this year too. I like that now under Quinn Snyder, the Hawks hit the glass, like they're second in offensive rebounding, first and second chance points, again, since Quinn Snyder took over. So maybe those extra possessions keeps them around. I think it's going to be a close game. And then it's like, which star is going to take over? I'm going to bet on Jimmy Butler, against obviously a DeJounte or a Trae.
That's a good bet. To bet on Jimmy Butler.
He's proven it time and time again. But hopefully it's a close game. Because I always wonder in these 7-8 matchups, if you're getting like blown out it's like you sort of have to make a decision as a head coach in the organization. Like, should we just like save the guys for Friday night? Like, we get another crack at it if you're down a lot, and it's getting out of control. It's like you maybe just like, hey, let's see what the bench can do and let's rest the starters, and like we got to play again on Friday night. Hopefully it doesn't happen tonight because we want a close game, but it's always in play. Any other thoughts on Hawks Heat?
I think, yes, Sadiq Bey, Trey mentioned him briefly there. I think he could be big. I think he's going to come off the bench, and he's been playing better for the Hawks defensively. He's been passable, and if John Collins isn't hitting shots, you could see Sadiq Bey take like all of his minutes, really, a bunch of his minutes down the stretch. He could play a lot, and the man can shoot, and that's what the Hawks were missing last year as well. Just really reliable three-point shooters, and they were missing a Capella, and Bogdan wasn't himself. So I think they're healthier, and they do have shooting, so the makeup is better. But they're not going to stop, even though the Heat stink defensively, they're not going to stop the Heat either. So it should be, in a weird way, even though the Heat can't score, a high-scoring game.
Is this Trae Young's one of his final games as an Atlanta Hawk? Did you read Kevin O'Connor's Ringer piece on the possibility, I guess, if you want to call it that, of the Hawks, if they had to get desperate here in the offseason, moving off of a guy like Trae Young?
I read something similar in The Athletic months ago where they said that basically everything is on the table going forward. I still think it's a huge move to move off your franchise superstar, a guy who has a cool, well-known celebration. So I don't think so, but I mean, if this goes poorly and then Friday goes poorly against the Bulls, then
there's Rhapsody.
Then maybe we're talking.
Yeah, possible. All right, let's go to tonight's other game. It's the second game on TNT, 10 p.m. Eastern. Will it start at that time? I doubt it. It'll be a little later, but it's Wolves-Lakers. And we see Anthony Edwards and a funny LeBron James picture there. So here's
like an Adam Sandler face.
So the winner of this one, Wolves-Lakers, advances to face the Grizzlies in the first round as the number 7 seed. The loser obviously gets another chance at it. Big news, though, from this game, or heading into this game. After punching teammate Kyle Anderson during the Wolves' regular season finale on Sunday, Minnesota did suspend Rudy Gobert for one game by making him unavailable for tonight's matchup. Of course, the Timberwolves will also be without their defensive star, Jaden McDaniels, after he fractured his hand punching a wall at halftime of that same game. I guess he thought it was just a curtain, and he didn't know there was a concrete wall behind it. So, we talked about it yesterday before we knew the Gobert news. A lot of us were saying, they'll probably let him play, and maybe tell him to miss game 1 of next year's regular season. But in the end, they decide to say, just stay home. How shocked were you by this?
I was honestly surprised. I suppose if it was a 9-10 game, maybe a different choice as well. They will at least have a second chance if they don't beat the Lakers tonight. But, I mean, from a franchise standpoint, if a player punches another player, especially in public, they have to be suspended. Otherwise, you're losing any sort of credibility going forward. Yeah. So I think smart move by the Timberwolves, but still surprising to me.
Yeah. You want to have integrity as a franchise, you do it. But I guess we sit here and we think, strategically wise, you'd want that guy on the floor, especially without
integrity.
I know. We're just thinking about the game. But yeah, as far as an organization, they're thinking about it long term. They want Rudy to be an integral part of their team. They gave up a boatload for him, so I don't think they want this to go down. Just they're down by the wayside this season already. So I think they're thinking long term. They're not thinking this game. Even though I was sitting here thinking you don't have Naz Reid as your backup center,
right?
He's gone, so you want Rudy out there. That being said, going into this game, as Kyle Anderson pointed out, Rudy's back was he wasn't playing all that well. So they played pretty well in the second half without him. His back was an issue, and Kyle Anderson also said in those recorded leaks, if you believe those leaks, that the Wolves baby Rudy Gobert too much, and now they're not babying him. So the Wolves all grown up, I guess. I don't know. I have some faith with the Wolves, but they are going to be shorthanded, big time here.
This was already going to be an uphill battle to beat the Lakers in LA the way they're playing recently, with AD, with LeBron, with all their ex-Wolves.
With Austin Reeves.
I mean, there's so many. There's like D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, and Vanderbilt, all ex-Minnesota players. But now no Gobert. More importantly, no McDaniels to at least try and keep someone in check on the perimeter. No Naz Reid is huge. That's not looking good. Like Anthony Davis should. I know Carl will try his best here, but he should. He has and should dominate once again tonight. So this is, I don't like the chances of winning this game. I'm not sure I would have liked them with all these guys healthy with the way the Lakers are playing. It's like two teams sort of going in opposite directions right now a little bit. Lakers sort of on the rise at the right time. The Wolves, unfortunately, with all of these self-inflicted wounds sort of going the other way. Can Anthony Edwards pop off for one game here? He was amazing down the stretch against the Pelicans. Incredible.
He won them
a lot of it defensively.
Yeah, he was completely locked in on both ends of the ball. He was like that in the playoffs last year as well. He had some incredible games where he looked like the best player on the court, and I think that's how the Timberwolves could win, is if Edwards has an explosion kind of game and is the best perimeter player out there. Karl Anthony Towns shooting 47% from three since returning.
He's been amazing.
Do not foul. Like, that is my biggest concern for this game for the Wolves is without three front court players in Gobert, McDaniels, and Reed, if Karl Anthony Towns gets 2 fouls in like the first 8 minutes of this game, it's Jover, baby. The Lakers draw so many free throws, especially since LeBron complained about the call against the Celtics. They're also playing at home. I don't know. Maybe sitting Gobert was the right thing from a vibe standpoint, and because perhaps it could make the Lakers overlook the Timberwolves a little bit here, not give a full effort, which I think is something that has to be a concern for the Lakers. A big Towns game and a big Edwards game is how this gets done for Minnesota.
You are saying it's instrumental for Karl Anthony Towns, like if he's already got a foul in him early, give up the AD dunk.
Exactly,
give up the LeBron, drive to the rim. Like, don't put them on the line because you're going to kill yourself with that second foul. That's interesting. Yeah, you're probably right. He needs to play. He obviously needs to splash threes. They need it. I mean, we're talking about Anthony Edwards having to have a monster game. Everybody has to play above their heads here, I think, for them to pull this out against the Lakers, they have been one of the best teams since the All-Star break, as we keep bringing up.
And if Anthony Davis wants this win and wants to play to his capabilities like he has been recently, and a recent game against the Wolves, he was monstrous. He can win this game. That's it. Done and done. The Wolves' advantage of having a lot of big guys and being big and being really good defensively is gone. Karl Anthony Towns is now the 5, and even though he's been really good offensively, this is totally different. Nathan Knight will probably get minutes as the backup center. That's a problem. AD can have his way with that team. I think they do have enough on the perimeter with Taurean Prince and Kyle Anderson and Anthony Edwards, who steps up not only offensively but defensively in the playoffs, to slow down the Lakers and how great they've been playing in Austin Reeves and Braun. But it's up to AD. And, Anthony Edwards, again, is so good when the lights come on. He is a special guy. And he could have one of those games. It is funny the other night when the Pels were leading the Wolves and Rudy Gobert goes out, all of a sudden Anthony Edwards seemingly looks like he takes over. But Karl Anthony Towns really took over, and Anthony Edwards in that play where he had that monstrous block and then had the dunk at the other end, he also gave the ball away in the middle of all that. He does get a little overzealous and tries to do a little too much. He was 8 of 21 in that game, didn't shoot all that well, but 4 blocks, 4 steals, does so much. So it's a good recipe for the future for the Wolves, but I would take the Lakers for sure.
Okay, so you are taking the Lakers. Yeah. You're not even convincing yourself the Wolves can win this one game.
I'm taking the Hawks.
I know. I didn't even see Sam Quinn take Minnesota in this game. Not even Quinn.
So much good podcasting mentions here. Podcast piece, Sam Quinn, Zach Lowe, Kaka. It's a great time.
I guess I threw in a KOC article too.
You did.
Shout out to the mismatch. A lot of content right now to consume. Everybody talking about the same games, and we'll be talking about them tomorrow. You have the Lakers in a close game, dominant win. Where are you going? Like the line was 7.5.
Medium. I would go 9-point victory. Okay. 9-point victory for the Lakers. I think the 7 seeds always win these games. I don't think they've lost to an 8 seed yet.
Is that true?
I'm pretty sure. Maybe one has lost, but generally in the play-in, if you have home court advantage, you win.
What are we at? Year 4 of these?
This is year 4?
For the play-in tournament?
If
we count the bubble one, which was a little weird. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So Lakers. I also have the Lakers. Let's hear from everybody out there. Who do you got in the Hawks Heat and Wolves-Lakers game tonight? I'm pumped. I'm excited. I mean, the play-in games, like I just hope.
Excited?
I know. Like it is the fun. I know it's not one and you're done for these teams tonight, but that's still, the stakes are high.
Still cool, man.
Stakes are high, man. It's still cool, man.
It's still cool.
Yeah, well,
Games that matter again.
Yeah.
It's been a month of games that don't matter.
That's what's been
basically
going on here. Yeah.
and yeah, if you're the Lakers or the Wolves, you want to play the 2 seed, I'd say, rather than lose this game and then play the for the 8 seed versus the Nuggets.
Interesting.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm talking strategy. You were already talking about
strats.
the Lakers' future. Oh no, you're talking
Warriors
about the
future,
Warriors'
yeah.
future. Well, I'm thinking Lakers' future here. Yeah, you'd rather have the Grizz than the Nuggets.
This playoff picture is set up pretty damn nice for the Lakers when you think about it, right? If they can win tonight, be the 7th seed. A lot of people are going to pick them against the Grizzlies. I mean, that would be a competitive series, I think.
Yep.
But to avoid then being on the 2-3 side of things, to avoid the Nuggets or in theory the Suns, like, and not having to meet one of those teams until the conference finals, if they could then, continue to get by whoever wins the 3-6 matchup between
For sure.
Kings and Warriors.
That
It's set up
side
nicely.
that side of the bracket, the non-reseeding way that the NBA does it, for sure. The 2-3s, the Kings and Grizzlies fans out there are saying, "What about us?
Right.
We're in a good side of the bracket too, because they are."
They are. All right, we got to take our final break. When we come back, Trey Kirby over there has got Tweet of the Night. It's a good one. Don't go anywhere. When it comes to saving money as a small business owner, every little bit helps. And no dunks, we speak from experience because we're a small business, a small classic business. And while we don't have to ship a lot, when we do, we turn to ShipStation because it gives us access to discounts of up to 84% off USPS and UPS rates. That's more money for mics, lights, and that fantastic poo-pourri toilet spray. TMI? Please. One bathroom here in the factory for a bunch of dudes? ShipStation helps benefit our shit station. That's a win-win. The best thing about ShipStation is all of your shipping is handled in a single dashboard. They effortlessly integrate everywhere you sell online, including Amazon, Etsy, eBay, Shopify, and more. You manage every order from one simple dashboard, automate routine shipping tasks, print shipping labels, and easily compare rates and delivery times to optimize every shipment. ShipStation, more efficient than the Joker, baby. And with enterprise solutions that make warehouse optimization easy, ShipStation scales when you do. So worry less about the bottom line when you save money with ShipStation. Go to ShipStation.com and use the code NODUNKS today to sign up for your free 60-day trial. 60 days. That's ShipStation.com, code NODUNKS. All right, if you're here live right now on YouTube, thank you. Hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Let's get to Tweet of the Night.
Tweet of the Night. Wow.
Twitter.
Yeah, Tweet of the Night comes from Andy Larson. That's Andy Blarson on Twitter. Andy B. Larson. It's award season, and the voters, those lucky voters, had to get their votes in yesterday. Here's Andy's tweet. One thing I didn't know as I fill out the awards ballot. For the Clutch Player of the Year award, they asked the 30 NBA head coaches for their top 5 most clutch players not on their own team, then made the list of finalists from that. Here's the list.
Huh. That's the entire list.
That's the entire list.
Wow, so the coaches picked a lot of the same players.
Yeah, a lot of the same players. And those players' names are Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Jaylen Brown, Jalen Brunson, Jimmy Butler, Stephen Curry, DeMar DeRozan, Luka Doncic, Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid, De'Aaron Fox, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Buddy Hield.
Whoa.
Of the Sacramento Kings.
Whoops.
That's what it says. Kyrie Irving, Nikola Jokic, Damian Lillard, Donovan Mitchell, Julius Randle, Jason Tatum. Looking at that list, I think that the Clutch Player of the Year is going to come from that list. I think it's going to be De'Aaron Fox.
Has to, I guess.
But yeah, that was a weird twist to this.
Yeah, I saw John Schumann was surprised as well. I think
Yeah.
he was going to possibly throw a vote to Tyler Hero, and then he was like, oh, I don't even have the option. Now, do you get to vote like 1, 2, 3 in this? Or is it just like Clutch Player of the Year, one guy?
That's a great question.
Because I thought Schumann was making it sound like he was going to give like a end of the ballot maybe to a Tyler Hero, but I don't know if Schumann's in the stream.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, just from Andy's screenshot, it looks like you're just clicking
Yeah,
one name
it does.
of those, 13 players, 18 players, whatever it may be.
19, I counted.
19? Nice.
It's not honestly not a bad list.
Not a bad list.
No, I mean,
Buddy
there's some
Sacramento
names you
Kings
can get rid
is
of,
a weird
but
one.
Yeah.
That one is weird
Yeah.
to me personally, but it's almost like they let the coaches do the ballot first, put in our top 5, and then you pick from that top 5.
Right.
I don't know. Cool though.
Very cool.
That's just cool.
Cool to see.
I don't know what else to say. That's just cool. That's how Jerry West would have wanted it. Yeah, he
you
said,
go.
do it this way, please.
I think it's interesting, like you were saying, like why did they keep this a little secret? Because this caught a lot of people by surprise.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I thought I was just gonna be, I guess, writing in my names or getting to pick from any player in the league, but you're telling me who I can pick from.
I guess they saved the dumb votes from happening.
Ah, good call.
Right.
They're like, oh, I'm voting for Chimezi Metu.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
All right, Schumann's here. He says 1, 2, 3. You do get to vote.
Okay.
And he was having Hero second on his ballot.
There you go.
So I guess that's
Couldn't even vote for him.
That's the biggest snub here. Who's number 20 on your clutch players list?
All right. I assume, did Shu have Fox number 1? Let us know, Shu. I'm guessing you probably did. It's either Fox, Brunson, DeRozan, maybe Shea. It's Fox is going to win this
DeRozan
thing.
would be last year, not so much
Yeah,
this year.
yeah.
Fox and Shea, I imagine, are going to be 1 and 2.
Okay. You agree with that?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I like how it all shook down. I like this.
That's a nice new voting style.
It's a
New
cool
voting style just dropped.
Yeah, I received a message also on from Reddit. You know how we do our monthly Reddit show?
Yeah.
A post just dropped there, the Alt NBA Awards, which they always do, just random categories.
Okay.
Just totally random,
Yeah, yeah.
non-MVP.
Just made up things, yeah.
Great stuff. Clutch Player of the Year, probably not on there, but you know that type of least valuable player, probably that type of stuff. We got to do a show on that. I think that would be perfect this time.
Okay, so
Something
yeah,
like that.
so least valuable player, what? 7th man of the year. Like, what are some other ideas? I know I'm putting you on the spot
Yeah,
here.
no, I haven't checked the post.
Okay.
Check the post.
But I could check it.
Oh, you're saying take the post, do maybe our NBA Reddit podcast, and then sort of answer, chime in on their specific.
The
picks.
real
Okay.
Sixth Man of the Year, presented by Brent Barry. Oh, it's presented by the Spark Plug Award, the Most Loose Balls Recovers Award, the Plexiglass Award, the Wes Unseld Memorial Brick Wall Award.
Oh, Jesus.
Screener of the year, basically.
Yeah.
Sick.
The Dead Shot Award, best qualifying 3-point percentage. Oh, showing some love to those players who don't get enough love.
Okay.
Your Kennards, your Horfords. Horford second in 3-point percentage. The Stormtrooper Award, the If He Dies, He Dies Award,
If he dies, he dies. What does that one mean?
presented by Tom Thibodeau, sponsored by
Oh, minutes.
Ivan Drago.
Okay,
He
nice.
dies, he dies. That's
Surprising.
I like this.
This is surprising. Most minutes played this year tied. A guy you'd think would
Julius
be on
Randle?
there. No,
Edwards?
Randall's not on there.
Yeah,
He
he got
played.
hurt at the end of the season.
Not Edwards. You'd think, games played, but just minutes played. Classic minutes played players.
Is it a Raptor?
One Raptor.
Yeah, Siakam? Or,
Siakam,
yeah.
and a guy you'd never think of,
should've known.
tied with Siakam at 37.4.
Van Vliet?
A guy you don't think
No.
of, who plays a lot, not a Kawhi, but in years past, because of other reasons, hasn't played.
Kyrie Irving?
That's right.
Oh,
37.4
Oh.
Just stacking up the minutes this year.
points per game. 30. Yeah. Black Hole Award, Hot Potato Award. This is great.
This sounds like a full podcast.
Sounds like a podcast, man. Let's wrap this podcast up and start another one. Guys, enjoy the play-in games tonight. We're back tomorrow to recap those games, look ahead to the Wednesday night play-in games, and we have some more playoff series to start previewing and predicting. Let's hear your predictions in the YouTube comments below. Thanks for joining us here today. We'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern from the Classic Factory. Until then, Clipper Bros!
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. And remember, we say play, you say
In.
yeah, play.
Yeah.
Yeah. See you then.
Brace the day, people.